everyone, to another exciting episode of the Team Lead Talks podcast. I'm your host out of Alexandria, Virginia, Andrew Becker. On today's episode, I have a good friend of mine. We've known each other for quite some time now, Charlie, and we do a lot of stuff off this podcast together. But Charlie Madison of Referrals While You Sleep. Welcome, dude. How you doing?
Hey, thanks. It's great to be here. Great to finally be on the show.
Yeah, man. Yeah. You had to wait in line to get on the show, right? It's that exclusive
Yeah,
that you have to wait a little bit. But no, I'm kidding. You're in Puerto Rico right now, right, dude?
I am. Yeah. Yeah. We've got this amazing city down in Puerto Rico that we visit. I guess this is the third time. So we'll be here the whole month of February. And I'm looking over a little golf course. It's raining right now, but it's 85 degrees, and I think it's 10 degrees in Nashville. So I'm happy to be here.
You win, you win. So enjoy that time. I know that's really, we had talked about, I had gone to Puerto Rico for spring break. My family's lobbying to go there again, but I'm like, want to try something different. But
Yeah.
awesome, dude. A month long in Puerto Rico. I'm jealous of you already. But let's jump into like who you are, man. For the people, I know we've done a few lives together now, so people might have an idea. But for those who haven't met you yet, can you just give us a high level overview of who Charlie Madison is, how you got into real estate, and then I'd love to talk about what we do together.
Yeah, so I'm unemployable. Like I've never had a real job. I say that I worked for UPS from 4 a.m. to like a.m. for like 6 months when I was 19, and I was like,
Man,
I'm never going to do this again. So my first business, I developed websites. Both my parents like said, "Hey, we hired someone to build a website and they never finished it. Can you do that?" And then I did, and then they referred someone and ended up running I was the lead programmer of a marketing company called Pro Webscape for 13 years. And then around the 13th year, me and my wife, we went to Costa Rica for a month, and then we extended it and extended it. And then so I actually had a place I had to go that August in New York City. So we just extended it and we flew straight from Costa Rica to New York City. And when we got back, I had kind of just like this spiritual resurgence. I had this moment where I was like, all these things kind of fell in place. And I was like, I think I'm supposed to like shut that down and get into real estate.
yeah.
And I remember it was like December 12th. I ran Pro Webscape for 13 years. It was successful. December 12th, my wife said, "Hey, we're pregnant with our first kid." And December 19th, a week later, I said, "I'm shutting down Pro Webscape and going into real estate."
Really good career move timing wise, man. Awesome.
Perfect.
How did
Perfect.
that go over?
Like, so we've been married at that time for 9 years. We've been together for 11. And, it was meant to be. She was like, okay, like it'll work out. Like, I trust you. It was
Yeah.
a very rough patch, of course, getting started. Like I had this thought, I've got a successful company. I'm moving to real estate. Like, I already know what to do. Like, this will be awesome. And boy, was it a bumpy ride getting started.
Yeah. It's never not bumpy, but you
Yeah.
made it through. And what did
Yeah.
you originally start doing in real estate, Charlie, before you do what you do today? Like, can you tell us what was your business model?
Yeah, so I got into it. My wife's an identical twin, and my brother-in-law he had a family business, remodeled apartments, and our plan was to get into real estate. He was going to do the construction, I was going to do the selling. We were going to flip properties. Had a mentor that had flipped 400 properties over a course of, I don't know, 5 years. I'd known him for a long time, but they got pregnant too, and he was smart enough to say, we're expecting our first kid. I'm not quitting what I'm doing. And so I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm going to figure this out. And, I joined my local Keller Williams. I was part of a nice referral group, and there was a realtor there, a part of a different brokerage. And I remember she was like, you should join Keller Williams. They're great at education. They'll teach you. And so I jumped in with both feet, and I was like, all right, I guess I'm going to do residential real estate.
Yeah.
And man, I was doing everything that I was told. This was January when I started. I got my license in April. I was door knocking. I was calling expires. I was calling FISBOs. Like I was going to do whatever it took to make it work.
Yeah.
And not a dang thing was happening. Like it was like, I had savings. And of course, I didn't shut down my pro Escape immediately. I was kind of like tapering. And I remember we got down to where I didn't have much savings left. And my lender told me, he's like, you should call this company called Buy Referral Only. And so I called them. They were like, hey, it's like $400 to get set up. And I was like, man, savings are dwindling. I've done everything. I went to all the classes. I was like, all right, I'll try it. And I tell you what, that was the day. It was the end of July, or it was like early July. And I was like, all right, whatever I do, I'm going to jump in full bore. And I
Yeah.
had this sweet coach named Teresa. She's passed away now. She's been there for decades. And she said, all right, connect with the people that know you, like in a non-commercial, like Keller Williams had me sending out branded letters, right? She said, no, don't do that. Reach out to the people that know you in a personal way. And I tell you what, I sat down the next 3 weeks. I just implemented that system, sent out letters. I finally got my first listing in August. It was a friend that ran my fantasy football league. And he was
Nice.
like, I didn't know you were in real estate. I've got a place I need to sell. And I remember we listed it for $81,000. It was a two
Very cool.
bedroom apartment. Um, then I had like four more deals through November. And then, I found out then, it's always slow in Nashville. 90% of the time between November to February, it's always slow. So I was stressing again. But
Yeah.
I kept working that system. And from February on, there was ups and downs. It's real estate. But every time that I focused on taking care of the people that knew me, like whenever they needed real estate help, they'd call me. And every time for me that I tried to, like, I ran a marketing company. I was like, I can
Mhm.
generate leads all day. And
Right.
every time that I ran some marketing thing, like I just lost tens of thousands of dollars and got black circles under my eyes. And what finally sunk it in, I had this great marketing campaign. I was generating all these leads. And one of my family members fired me from selling his $700,000 house. He was buying a $1.2 million house, and he fired me, and I was pretty mad. He was
Mhm.
nice. He said, I'm going to give it to another friend, and they're going to give you half the commission. It was like 2 days before my third kid was born, and I was exhausted, losing money, tired. And the reason he fired me, looking back, is I was spending all this time and money on all these strangers, these leads, that I wasn't taking care of the people that like it was a shoe in. Now I call them,
Yeah.
like I mean, I was killing the golden goose. And I went back to Buy Referral Only. I talked to my coach, and he said, just talk to the people that you know. And long as I do that, I was like, that works. Which kind of led me to the next step was, all right, like how do I do this consistently and scale it?
Automatically for you, which
Right.
Charlie is where you kind of wound up with what you do today. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So, everything I do, it really stems from a story, a real life thing that happened. Like when something happens to me, I believe one of my favorite coaches is Dan Sullivan with Strategic Coach. And he said, take full responsibility for everything in your life and you'll be all right. And so, I was running the system, I was talking to the people in my sphere. And like one of the worst things ever that happens in real estate. Like, I mean, I built a big team. We were number one in our office, nice office at one time. Um, like been super successful. And then I had a past client, someone else's sign is in their yard for listing. And,
Yeah.
this is a client. He was on my monthly newsletter. He was on my monthly postcard. I saw him a few times a year. Like we were like good. We were good friends enough that I actually called him and said, "Hey, I'm curious what happened."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Man, I was just closer to this other person. He'd switched churches. He was around this other guy more, and I know a bunch of real estate agents, so I didn't know there was a difference. I thought I'd spread it around." And I was like, "Man, like that's my fault. Like, what can I do?" And he's like, "Man, you did a great job." Like, yeah, there was nothing because I said, "Was there something I did?" He's like, "No, you did awesome." I was like, "All right, what do I like? How can I be?" Now I call it the three T's. That's what you need to have a really successful business, really in any business. You're top of mind, they trust you, they believe you can deliver the transformation they need. Top of mind, trusted, transformation. Here's the magic. When they're ready, you've got the three T's. There had been time where me and him had been super close, but now he'd moved away. So
Right.
how am I like top of mind, trusted? They believe he already believed I had the transformation. He already trusted me. I just wasn't top of mind. And I was like, all right, like how can I do that in a scalable way? Like I know there's systems where, you pop by people's houses, once a quarter, you call them once a quarter.
Yeah.
I don't like people doing that to me. I don't want to do that to people. I mean, this guy, I saw him once a quarter and I was like,
Hmm.
there's got to be a better way. So I put my nerd hat on and I started like, all right, what like reverse engineering it. There's some books I love that like I've studied persuasion forever. One of my friends says, man, you built like the science of pre-sold clients. Like this is really what it was.
Okay.
Because if this guy would have called me, it would have been a shoe in. Like I wouldn't have had to like compete with anybody.
Charlie, can I
Yeah.
ask you a question? So you had told us this, you had this friend, he listed his house with some agent that wasn't you, but you had already been mailing him once a month or once a quarter, and he was getting your emails. So even that wasn't enough. I just want to be very clear. Like you
Yeah.
felt that wasn't even enough in terms of staying top of mind because you sent one or two things a month. Maybe he saw it, maybe he didn't, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. I was sending two things a month, a postcard and a newsletter. Really well received. Like it's not junk. Like people actually enjoy it. I often get calls where people are like, "Yeah, man, I put it next to the toilet every month and I read it, throughout the month. Like it's good." Yeah, and I saw him. So like I wasn't not following up. That like I was doing the system. I mean, I did an amazing job the first time. So I was like, in today's world, there's got to be a better way. And I started researching it. And guilty confession here. When I first started, I built my database. I took those 3 weeks. I got all the names, emails, addresses. I'm not that good at it now. I'm terrible at updating my database. I'll try to do it like once a year. I've tried to hire VAs to do it for me. I've tried to hire employees, and like the one's great, and she leaves. I got to hire another one.
Yeah.
One was a drug addict. I had to fire her. So like I've tried. How do I keep my database up to date? And really, what makes me good at what I do is not updating the data. And I found that this was the case with my real estate team. So my big insight was like I'm great at talking to people, calling, texting, emailing. I was like, what if I could like just sync with everyone in my phone and everyone in my address book? I was like, man, that'd be
Yeah.
like perfect. That'd be a good dream come true. So I started looking, and there was like no way to do that. Like you could export your list, but it didn't like
No
keep up to
automatic way
date.
to do it, correct? So to
No
get someone,
automatic.
yeah, and just to clear this up, it's a contact that you have saved. So I have you, Charlie Madison, in my phone. That's what you're trying to do. Is like, how can I automatically stay in front of Charlie if he's saved in my phone?
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Cool. All right. So what happened from that point forward, Charlie?
So I spent a few years trying to figure out how to make that happen. And got some friends that were in the real estate business. I said, "Hey, look, I'm trying this out. What would you like to try it with me?" And so I got some beta testers. And then in 2020, I built a way. My friends call it the magic link because it magically links everyone in your phone, everyone in your email address book, really see you everywhere online. Like that's what I wanted, so that my buddy, his name's Nolan, so he doesn't just see for maybe he gets the two pieces of mail a month that I send, right? Or maybe his wife had been getting the mail and she just maybe she threw it away. Both of them were in my phone
Right.
though. And so like how can I make sure that on autopilot they just see me all the time? So I figured it away. I built it out. You've experienced it. It's like you set it up in like 5 minutes, and then it's just autopilot. As long as you call, text, or email people, they're
Yeah,
going to
you
start
set
seeing
it up
you
for
everywhere.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you set it up. It took like, I'd argue it took like 2 minutes to do,
Uh,
not five, but it was super easy. But let's finish the circle here. So I have like 900 people on my phone by name and contact card with phone number, email, etc. I hooked in through your software that you built after figuring this out, and it goes into Facebook to ultimately, and it takes everyone from my phone and puts it into a Facebook audience, what's known as an audience. So who do you want to see your stuff? But then what's like the final part of actually having everybody see who's in my phone, see what I want them to see?
yeah. So that's the first thing. Automate the audience, and that's where a lot of people make a mistake. They spend, I mean, hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars a month, and they're really just throwing money out to strangers. When the truth is, there's people that already trust you, that already believe you do the transformation. You're just not top of mind. Like the problem's digital amnesia. They forget about you because they're bombarded. So, like, spend your money making sure that like my buddy Nolan, like they remember you. And how do you make it where like you stand out? So then the final part is we take specific content and we make sure they see it in three places. One, they see it all over Facebook, Facebook Marketplace, Messenger, like everywhere they go on Facebook.
Right.
The second place is all over Instagram. So Instagram Reels, Stories, Instagram Explore, all over Instagram. And then the third place is one of my favorites. It does the most to like make you stand out. Is it's over 50% of the top websites in the world. So it might be CNN.com, ESPN, New York Times, New York Post. Um, one of my friends sent me a message, and it was a picture of me. They're like, I'm reading an article on New York Post, and there's you and your family, and it was a testimonial. Like, how are you doing this?
Yeah.
And so you're everywhere to a select group of people because they're the ones that, I call them lottery ticket clients because winning lottery ticket clients, when they call you, like you feel like you won the lottery.
Yeah.
They work like my clients that I work with, they're happy that, I mean, you're happy that I'm in Puerto Rico and you know that I'm going to take care of you wherever I am.
Yeah, man.
And so that's it. So we link your contacts and then we make sure it goes to those three places. And it's really specific content. And you experienced this because when we turned it on, you had people like call you out of the blue, right?
Yeah. It's cool, man, and I love it. And I don't think you've mentioned this, and I don't know if I did either, but this is called referrals while you sleep. It's an actual service that you provide that I am doing for all my companies that I have, just because it's such a, it's not necessarily set it and forget it, because I like coming out with new content and videos and pieces, but the execution of it, in my mind and opinion, is set it and forget it. It's super easy. I just upload everything to the Dropbox folder you gave me on my phone, shoot a video, edit it if I want to, or just upload it. And then you and your team kind of take it and I'll just randomly start seeing it in different places, which is really cool. And it's awesome because of what you just said. When people reach out and say, hey, I saw your probate engineer's video. Do you have a court? Like, can I learn more? And I'm like, this is awesome. Like, this is why
Yeah.
I'm doing this. So yeah, it's phenomenal, man. Charlie, if someone wants to learn more, reach out, connect, chat with you about this, how can somebody find you?
Yeah. So they can go to referralswhileyousleep.com. They can learn a lot there, sign up there. Or, I'm the founder, I'm the lead developer, got a small team, but they can reach out to me directly. 761-9868, 615-761-9868. I love talking to people. I tell everybody I've got the best life in the world. I'm able to spend time with my kids. Me and my wife just celebrated 21 years married. I get to work with cool people like you. And like, if I
Yeah,
could do
yeah,
anything, it would be help other entrepreneurs
yeah,
have an
man.
amazing life too. And so, yeah, I'd love to talk to you and see how we might be able to just let you build your business without burnout. Because if you get really good clients come in, business is pretty easy.
Yeah, that's amazing, dude. And our friendship has grown throughout we're coming up on like maybe a year of knowing each other. I forget, time flies, but phenomenal service. It's changed our businesses. And like I said earlier, we're having you guys do this for all three or four that we have going. I can't even keep track anymore. But Charlie, man, I know you're in Puerto Rico and you're itching to play golf or whatever it is you want to do when it stops raining. But one last question for you. What is one resource, website, book, PDF, checklist, something like that that you could share with those listening to my community and audience that would change their life, their community, or their business for the better?
Yeah, so I'm actually just now coming out with a book called The Science of Pre-Sold Clients, and it
Very
dives
cool.
deep into a combination of like Robert Cialdini, the neuroscience of how do you get people to trust you, and if they want, if they can actually reach out. I'm gonna create the link today specifically for you. Then go to referralswhileyouSleep.com/book, and I'll actually give them just a free copy. It's not released yet. It'll be rough, but it really dives into like just the few things you need to do so that people are pre-sold on you. Like that's really what we want. Like my goal is how do you never talk to someone until they know who you are or what you do, and they're 99% sure they want to hire you, no matter the cost, right?
That's
So
everyone's dream, dude. That's the dream
yeah.
scenario. And I won't make you send it from Puerto Rico because I'm imagining shipping would cost a fortune. When you get back to Tennessee in about a month, I would love a signed copy of your book. But
Perfect.
congrats on the book, dude. I can't wait to see it and read it. And thank you so much for your time today.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for having me. And stay warm. I will.
Yeah, I'm cold, so I'll be thinking about being in Puerto Rico when you can experience for yourself. But thanks, man. It was really good seeing you, dude.
Hey, thanks.
All right, later.